the heart of every organization is its people. We're taking action to take care of them, to develop a world-class team, now and into the future. This is Empowering Excellence with Art and Frankie.
Welcome back to another episode of Empowering Excellence. Coming to you from the Naval Information Warfare Systems Command, I am Art Sterrett, and I am here with my fabulous co-host, Frankie Ramos. Frankie, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I love these intros that you give me. Makes my day.
Well, you're my favorite co-host.
Well, thank you. I think I'm your only co-host. I'll take it.
Frankie, we have got a very special guest today.
We do.
We do. Relatively new.
Yeah.
NAVWAR
4.5
commander.
months.
That's it?
Yeah.
Man, time flies.
Seems like just yesterday. Admiral Okano, we are really excited to have you as a guest.
I'm excited to be here. No, honestly, I'm a huge fan of this podcast, by the way. You both know this. I binged it. And for everybody who's listening, you should binge from like episode 1. It's fantastic.
I always say skip episode 1. But
Well,
we love the fact that you're here.
Yeah, thank
But
you.
tell us where you came from. Where did you grow up?
I was born in Lexington, Kentucky, and I was raised in Evanston, Illinois. So it's where Northwestern University is, right outside of Chicago. My mom's from a very small town in Louisiana. It's a town called Arnaville, so it's right next to Lafayette, if you're familiar with Louisiana at all.
yeah.
Bayous, alligators. She was one of 6 children in a big Irish Catholic family, raised by a single mom. So, really came from nothing, frankly. Went into the Peace Corps, was in Africa, Uganda, and Nigeria.
Wow.
And then my dad immigrated from Japan. And came over to the States in his 20s. They met at Columbia University in New York. I was raised in kind of a blended cultural family. My sister and I were kind of taught to be curious, ask questions. The differences of opinion, we had a lot of lively discussions. And growing up, that was a very normal thing. And so that was, I kind of embraced people's differences because I was like, oh, I'm curious. Like, tell me, what is it like to be where you're from? And it wasn't a scary thing. It was like, it was an interesting thing. You wanted to learn more.
So how did you find your way to the Navy?
I was a swimmer. There were colleges that were recruiting, and one of them was the Naval Academy. They said, hey, we'll pay for your college tuition.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is a pretty good deal. There are a lot of other details in there, but
Sure.
For the most part, I don't know what I was really signing up for. I just knew this was like free tuition, and they gave you a cool uniform to wear. So I was like, okay, this sounds great.
So wait a minute, you got recruited as a swimmer?
As a swimmer.
Wow, I learned
Yes.
something new.
One of the things that you like to do is boxing.
I do.
Yes.
Now, did that start at the Naval Academy by chance?
No, it did. Well, we had to box at the Naval Academy.
One of the reasons I was asking you about whether you got interested in it at the Naval Academy is because I remember...
Did you box at the Naval Academy?
Well,
Okay.
oh yeah, I boxed only because I had to.
Yeah.
But so the first time they put me in the ring, I'd never boxed with anyone before, but I'm kind of thinking, oh, this is just kind of a fun thing. We're going to, do this. And,
You get knocked
and
out.
this guy just cleaned my clock in like 15 seconds. And I'm like laying on the mat and I'm like, oh, this is serious.
Wait, can I tell you this?
Wait, the headgear wasn't a sign that it was serious?
There were, so at the Naval Academy, the men boxed with the men, and then the women, we actually did wrestling. So we didn't
Okay.
do boxing, we did wrestling.
Okay.
And so we had to pair up, and it was kind of very similar, although the girl that I was paired up with, I remember having a discussion with her before we had to get into the ring, and I was like, okay, look, we're not,
Yeah.
we're not going to do this for real, but we're going to make it look good.
Yeah.
Whatever that meant, I don't even know, but I remember being like, we're good, right?
Yeah.
We get in there, and she like throws me, and I was like, wow, this is rough. I think it's because at the Naval Academy, we're all like very competitive type A. And so you really want to be something that's not that, but then you get into the ring and it's just like instinctually, you're like, oh, nope, it's on.
Yeah.
I think the rest of my Naval Academy boxing career was spent kind of like this.
You've had a long career.
Yeah.
Tell me what stands out in your mind as like some of your biggest challenges or challenge.
I don't think I'm unique in this challenge, but I think it is one that I struggled with for a very long time. So I consider it as like a big challenge. But when I think about my earlier days, my earlier kind of career, I think I was, you kind of armor up. And, you have this image in your mind of what success looks like. And, I think it's very natural to think, to look at, your bosses and your leaders and think that's what success looks like. And, in the late 90s, in the early 2000s, the majority of my bosses were men. And so I mimicked their behavior. I mimicked that was the behavior that I felt like was what would allow me to be successful. And I think the realization is that when you're trying to be somebody that you're not, it's exhausting.
Yeah.
And it just, over the years, you can do this for a few years, but then over the years, you're just like, this isn't me. This is not how I lead. This is not my natural state. And it took me a very long time to be comfortable in, lead like who you want to be. Lead like a girl. You are a girl. Lead like a girl, and that's okay. But the thing is I didn't have a lot of role models. I didn't know what that meant.
Right.
So it just took me a little while. I would say that would be my biggest challenge, just getting comfortable in myself and that. And what I found was the minute I embraced that, the things that I thought were maybe not acceptable are the ones that people were like, we like that the most about you. We want that. You think differently. That's exactly what we want. We don't want you to think like everybody else.
Did you have any particular mentors or coaches that kind of helped you navigate that challenge? Because I can see how that maybe it takes some time for you to get to where you are today.
I mentioned Admiral Kate Page. She was my first female boss, and she really did mentor us. That was very helpful. If you see it, you can be it kind of thing. The other person that I think who was really influential was Secretary Gertz. I was his EA, and talk about just being comfortable in being unique. He was kind of like, look, we've got to be innovative, and being innovative means, embracing different viewpoints. So we need you to have a different viewpoint. And so it wasn't, it was kind of hitting it from a different angle that I think he said to me once, he was like, the person who can sometimes tip the boat the most is the person who's outside the boat. It's harder to rock the boat from the inside, but if you're outside and you just pull it, he's like, you're outside the boat. That's a strength, and it's like, wow, that's okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I like that analogy.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to use that. I'm trying to be on the outside of the boat, boss.
I know. I will tell you. Frankie, no. But to your point, though, Frankie brings a different opinion a lot of times, and it makes you think about things a different way. So even though we squabble occasionally.
But you know what? That's healthy.
It is healthy, and
so.
You get to a better solution.
Yes.
Right? Because you're looking at it from a different angle, right?
That's right.
Different experiences. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thanks for creating that space for me, boss. To be outside of the boat.
It's a psychologically safe space, Frankie.
That's right. It is because you have to have that. If I didn't feel that, then I wouldn't be maybe as apt to be on the outside pulling that boat.
Yeah.
If there's one thing I know with Frankie, I will always get her honest opinion on something.
That is true.
And I think
that's also a testament to you, to the she's able to give that honest opinion.
But I think we see that in you too.
Yes.
We know how you feel
No,
about
it's true.
things.
I do.
Yeah.
Well, and that's part of that learning the lesson thing, right? When you're
Right.
kind of like, I just have to be who I am.
Yeah.
You know, I think it also means more to people if you're like, oh, it is what it is. She is, you know, she's not playing us. She's not
right.
gaslighting us.
Well, and then you don't have to guess, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh, I don't know. You know where you stand.
Right.
I think that's far less exhausting than
Yes.
like, I don't know. Maybe
Yeah.
am I reading it wrong?
Right. And we've all worked for those people.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
exhausting.
It's
trying to
it's
figure them
exhausting.
out.
It's exhausting.
That's not you, boss.
Thank you. So what would you say right now the highest priorities for you are as the NAVWAR commander?
Creating a team that's passionate about delivering game-changing IW capability. I mean, that is, to me, it boils down to that. You know, how do you create this world-class machine of a team that is just like, oh my gosh, people fear, you know, I want our adversaries to be like, there's no way we could ever beat them in IW. They have a NAVWAR, and we don't. We are very capable. I think we've got to start figuring out how to row in the same direction. You know, in my opinion, I think you've got the talent. How do we align? How do we just get everyone rowing in this direction and just kind of feel the power of NAVWAR, you know, and everything it can give to the fleet? So I think it's going to be fun. But I think part of that alignment is connecting to the mission, right? And so you're going to see us, I think in 25, really kind of go on this campaign of connecting the entire workforce to what the mission is. You know, do you understand the problems that we're trying to solve? And do you see yourself in that? You know, do you see where you fit? And if not, please raise your hand. Let's talk about it. And let's get you on the problems, because guess what? We have plenty to do here. If you don't feel it, if you're not waking up and you're going like, oh my gosh, you know, I'm critical to this. I know what I'm doing. Let's talk. Because you are, but two, we've got to help you connect the dots on where you fit in.
So how do you, as a leader, empower excellence in your people?
I believe in them. I mean, look, gosh, I think I love people. Again, it goes back to my roots. Like, people are different, and and I'm curious, and I just want to know more, and I want to know your background, and like what makes Art tick, and like why is Art here, and what makes Frankie tick, and how'd Frank, you know. And I think that is just kind of maybe what you see is like, yeah, I mean, I believe in this workforce. I believe in the people, and I think you can do some incredible. I've seen people do incredible things with an amazing team, and it's not about. In my opinion, it's not about, oh my God, I got to go find another team. There's nobody here. And no, I think you have the talent. The talent's already here. It's just unlocking this and really understanding what is, you know, Frankie passionate about? What's Art passionate about? And then how do you unlock that so that they are able to bring their best selves to work? And then all of a sudden you're just like, oh my God, this is a world-class organization, right?
Hope I speak for the NAVWAR workforce, and we are excited to go on this journey, and I think we're ready to step it up and move forward.
Let's go, 2025.
Are you with me, Frankie?
I'm ready. I'm ready to pull
I just want to point out,
boat.
I am not the cause of any of Frankie's stress. Well, Admiral, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.
Empowering Excellence with Art and Frankie is a production of the NAVWAR Headquarters Public Affairs Office in association with NAVWAR Corporate Operations. Our podcast production team includes Ed Disco Buckleton, Kara McDermott, and Ramon Go, our digital media specialist who produced today's show. On behalf of Frankie and myself, I am Art Sterrett. Have a great Navy day.